Coffee. Industrial strength, be warned.
Oh, that'd be good, thanks. Bit of a hard starter.
I think I need a little more than that.
Oh, you've always needed more than that.
Not that I could hold it down, anyway. All exits, no waiting.
I'd like to get you onto a drip quick smart. You're quite dehydrated.
Well, I'm not surprised the way I've been going the last couple of weeks. They could have set me up in the park as a new fountain, spurting from both ends.
How are the headaches?
Oh, okay.
I don't know why you didn't call me sooner.
It wasn't until I saw the blood.
Even then, he still didn't want to call?
Of course not. That'd put an end to the brave soldier act, wouldn't it, mate?
Well, up yours, Marty.
You're probably anemic, so I'd like to get some blood into you too. The rest of your symptoms are consistent with a recurrence of MAC. I'd like to run some tests to rule out CMV.
Oh, look, I'm no good at tests. And I haven't done my homework on CMV.
Well, bad luck. You'll have to cram.
When do I have to go?
I can get him in this afternoon. Has he taken all the toxo antibiotics?
Yep, tomorrow's the last day.
Thanks. There's no point trying to get a straight answer out of him.
Medication isn't working, Martin. The weakness in his left arm's just as bad. The headache hasn't gone. He won't say anything, but I know he's still got it.
Look, we'll get him into hospital first, and then we'll talk about what to do from there, okay? Look, Alex, you know a lot of the time with AIDS, we're working on clinical suspicion. It could be any number of things. We just have to eliminate the possibilities one by one. You told me the headaches had gone.
I said they were okay. I hadn't really thought about them.
Well, think about it now. Are they gone or not?
I guess not. When you got your head down the toilet bowl for half the day and your backside on it for the other half, well, you're a bit busy to think about much else, really. I'm thinking about moving my desk in there, you know. Already got the throne. I could do my work without having to jump up every 5 minutes.
You finished?
For now.
Good, because they're expecting you this afternoon.
Not possible. Alex has some purgatory delay this afternoon.
Oh, it's all right. This job is...
You're across the other side of town. He shouldn't even be here now.
They have no taste. Let them wait. I can take it.
No, you can't.
Look, I'll take you. I can drop by during the lunch break.
He went down to the shop yesterday and forgot what he went for. Came back with nothing.
Look, we all do that, Alex.
Oh, I know, but... Just stood here in the doorway looking so lost. He was shaking like I don't know what. And the sweat was pouring off him. My first instinct was just to turn around and run.
Here we go again.
Been okay before.
How many times can I fall off the same log and come up smiling?
Just take it one day at a time.
Oh, you make a great living writing bumper stickers. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't deserve you. I just hate hospital.
I want you to get well, Jeremy.
Thanks. Why don't you wish for something easier? Like world peace.
Chrissy! Hi. Still hasn't popped out yet? So...
See you, Chrissy. So how is he?
Well, I'm already treating him for a bowel complication, CMV or MAC. And then I did a CT scan a couple of weeks ago, and it turns out he's got a lesion in the brain. So now I've got to work out whether it's toxoplasmosis or a lymphoma. I feel like I'm juggling, and every time I think I've got it covered, someone throws in a new ball.
When will you know what the lesion is?
Well, soon. if the blood tests show that he's responded to the antibiotics, then it's toxo. If not, it's a lymphoma.
Well, fingers crossed it's toxo.
You're telling me.
You been going out much lately?
No. It's dinner in front of the telly with Sonia, in bed by 9. It's like we're this middle-aged couple. Get lost.
What? I like Sonia. She's nice.
Yeah, well, you can have her.
Of course. Hot and cold running Puccini. Not that I don't have that going all day and all night. I know we're all supposed to love opera, but I hate the stuff. All that sentimental bollocks about young, beautiful people dying. He used to be a model. Try putting that to music and see if you fill the football stadium at $200 a ticket.
Hello, Jeremy.
Ah, Katrina.
Saw that magazine thing you were working on last time you were in. Stuck it up in the office.
Oh, exotic new ideas for eggs. I think you thought up most of them.
I did too. You didn't send me any commission.
Checks in the mail.
Well, that's the usual gump for you to sign. I want to get an IV line up and some fluids into you as soon as possible. Then I'll check to see if the results of your toxo test are back.
I don't have toxo, I have a lymphoma.
We don't know that until we rule out toxo. So how about you stop being such a pessimist, eh?
Rule away. You might need one for each arm. My veins are in hiding.
Jeremy, it's okay to be frightened.
I'm not frightened. Honestly, I'm not.
You know where I am if you need me. Let's see. Big fish circles after known product in films. Cryptic?
Yeah.
Jaws. No, I see, yeah. 2 words, 6 and 6. I can never get my head around these things.
Marlon Brando.
Big fish. I'd never have got that.
It may have got my body. It's gonna have a fight to get my mind. People only see this. Don't realize that I'm me in here. But I'm still here. I'm still here.
Mum, happy birthday. Well, he put a lot of thought into that one, didn't he? Still, it's not the thought that counts. Oh, it's lovely, but cheap. You give someone life and he gives you a wall clock. All I need now is a wall to hang it on.
Julie, do feel free to change that if you...
Oh, thank you, Ruby. I'll give it. Oh, what is this?
Hello,
How
surgery.
exciting.
How was the colonoscopy?
Fabulous. You should have one. I'm sure you'd enjoy it. Is this a social visit or you want to talk shop?
A bit of both. I've got your test result.
And?
You don't have toxoplasmosis.
Told you.
But I still want to do a brain biopsy to confirm that it is a lymphoma.
Told you, mate.
Is there anything you want to talk about?
No?
Well, I've got to get back. Let me know if you want to talk.
What are you doing out of hospital? Yeah, it was too much like the opera. What you doing? Martin said 3 or 4 days. Did he say you could go? No, I checked myself out.
few things I wanted to think about before I talked to Martin.
Like what?
Well, like choosing quality over quantity. Every time. In all things. Even life. Especially life. There may be no underpants. You can never have enough underpants.
Everything is such a joke to you. Everything is just so funny.
I was going to chuckle out of underpants.
Stop it! Just stop it, will you? Come in here and trample all over everything, my feelings. All day yesterday with Martin and with me, all you can think about is your feelings. I'm so funny. Even when I kill myself, I'm funny. Throw everything away. Well, I've got a say in this too, you know.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry.
No, you're absolutely right.
I need you to listen to me too.
Well, you got my attention. I'm listening. What is it you wanted to say?
Don't do this to me. Not now.
Then when? Oh, don't act surprised. We've discussed this.
I'm not surprised. I'm just...
We need to make a decision. I need to make a decision.
I don't want to lose you.
I think it's time.
Why now?
I have a lymphoma in my brain. This is as good as it's ever gonna get. As healthy as I'm gonna feel. Never gonna look any better. Think any clearer. It's not good enough. It's not me. There isn't any point. What have I got? 6 months tops?
Radiotherapy will give you
It won't cure it, and it won't give me any more time.
No, but it would mean that you'd be well enough to enjoy the time that you've got left.
I'm not having radiotherapy.
Look, you only got the news today. I think you should take some time and see how you feel in a day or two.
No, Martin, we've been through this 100 times. It's what Jeremy wants.
Is there nothing that you still enjoy in your life? Well, it's a simple enough question.
Is it?
I'd like you to try and answer it. If you're uncomfortable discussing the subject, then...
Of course there is. Food, music, laughter, friends, my work, and even very occasionally, making love. But that's not all there is, Martin.
With proper care, we can keep the pain to an absolute minimum.
It's not about the pain. I don't want to get to the point where I've no control of my mind or my body until I'm a gibbering mess.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen tomorrow. Why not wait? Why not next week? Next month?
Or next year? Or next century? Or when I've all but dropped off the twig anyway?
Why not take the couple of months available to you?
What's going on, Martin? What's the hurry, Jeremy? Are there still things you enjoy, Jeremy? Where's the invisible line that says, yes, now this particular puff is ready for the knacker's yard? It's completely arbitrary, isn't it? It's drawn wherever you choose. And I want to choose here and now. You've seen how quickly it can happen once your mind starts to go like that.
Well, why not wait until then? You've got that eventuality covered in your living will.
And what if you have second thoughts then? I won't be able to sit here and argue my case. I'll just dribble on you and call it the wrong name.
What's wrong, Martin?
There's research going on every day. I mean, maybe not tomorrow. Some breakthroughs. Small maybe, but maybe one day.
The cure.
Yeah, maybe. One day, yes.
It's me you're talking to, Martin. I don't want to hang on as a diseased heap of misery in the hope of some 11th hour miracle cure.
We talked about this 2 years ago. 3.
We discussed the possibility at an appropriate time.
Marty, I have to do this. And I asked you to help. So we didn't botch things up ourselves. And because I thought it would make things easier for Alex. But I know it's a big ask. And if you've changed your mind, it's okay. I'll understand. But you have to say so. And we have to know soon. Okay?
What do you want, Alex?
I want to go back to before 1980, before any of this started. Fantasy. I don't want to let go of the person I love most in all my life. Fantasy again. But I respect his decision. Here's the head. There's the heart.
Must be wonderful to be able to make things with your hands. To actually physically bring something into existence that never was until you conceived of it. People are going to be living with a part of you for the next century. Lucky people.
Martin will be here tomorrow night.
Wear basic black.
Have you got everything in order?
Let's see. Tomorrow lunch, cancel all appointments. Tomorrow night, die.
And you will?
Update it every 6 months.
Good, because legally we need to be...
Hey, we're not scared of the law. We had a honeymoon in Tasmania. Look at that. Fantastic. Now that's worth drinking to. 5 years. 5 years of the best relationship in the history of the universe. Breakfast. Been served.
Here's to us.
Look at you. Oh, I wish I could paint. Should have finished those classes. So many things I never got around to doing. Still could. I could live forever and never find the time to do all the things I've wanted. I'm happy for the chances I've had. It's just... you look so beautiful. Here I am without a paintbrush.
Stop it. Woo-hoo. Come on. Stop messing around. Stop it. Come on.
Seems no matter how much French champagne you've got, it always runs out too soon. Ain't that the way? Why is it that sadness is the most beautiful emotion?
Oh, I'm a bottomless well of profundity this morning, aren't I? It's about this point in the movie that Doris Day would snuggle up to Rock Hudson and say, I think you ought to marry again. Well, I do. No, look, promise me you'll try to find someone nice. Not as nice as me, of course. But nice-ish.
If he was HIV positive, I'd be afraid of losing him too. If he was negative, I'd be... Either way, I'd be asking him, risk losing me.
I've changed my mind. I want my ashes scattered over the water. Okay, Big Al, let's get a move on. We've got a dinner party to prepare.
Hi. Alex rang and left a message that you were in hospital again, but I got there and you were gone.
I escaped. Knotted the sheets together and climbed out the window.
You're such a dag sometimes. You look fine. Standard hospital stuff. Feel a bit silly giving it to you at home.
Oh, not at all. Perfect costume for the Mardi Gras.
I think you've missed it.
Maybe next year.
I don't think this'll keep.
Neither will I, sweetheart.
Don't, Jeremy. I hate it when you talk like that.
Party pooper.
Well, I got a Zoom. Due at the family court. Lives to wreck, homes to destroy. You're okay, aren't you? They wouldn't have let you go if you weren't.
No short answer to that. What are you waiting for?
A sensible reply.
From me? Could be a long wait. I'm fine. Under the circumstances, I'd say I'm doing remarkably well.
Okay. I've really got to go. You call me?
Ruth,
Yeah?
what are you doing tonight?
Dinner with the magistrate. Bit of schmoozing to do.
Hot date.
Hardly. She's a woman.
Well, isn't it about time you jumped the fence, too?
Jeremy?
Just having a lend of you.
Well, don't.
Okay. But if the man shortage gets any worse, you might have to think about it. Oh, sorry.
See ya.
Yeah, see ya. Hey. I love you.
I love you too.
To Jeremy. To Jeremy.
Oh, to life.
To life.
Yes, do everything I tell him tonight. Yeah! Well there, boy.
I thought you said you were losing weight. Played the game before, Where'd you learn to rhyme like that,
You will never, I promise, have another wine like this. I've been hoarding it in my cellar for years. 1964, first growth, Bordeaux. As old as me and worth a bloody fortune.
$10.95 at Coles.
So why don't you wait until after the weekend and come to the candlelight vigil?
Oh, not after last year.
What? We're standing there. The atmosphere is completely somber. We're holding our candles. The guy at the front is reading out the names. Eric so-and-so, Robert so-and-so. Goes for so damn long. The candle burns down to the foil. Foil catches fire, burns my fingers. I throw it in the air. Shit! Everyone turns around, even the guy reading the names. We had to leave. We couldn't stop laughing.
Oh.
You...
I'd like to thank you, my friends, my little family. Oh, man, put the camera down. Not just for coming here tonight, but for all the years, for making my life such a good one. And especially to Tristan, for introducing me to this man. Today's been better than I could have imagined. And how many people could say that on the day they died? Light a candle for me, Marty.
You bet, mate. This one will make you sleep.
Goodbye, sweet man.
Do you know what would happen? He'd go into a coma. He might not die, but there'd be a high risk of brain damage. It's not really my choice, though, is it? Go on. Have you Got someone to stay with you tonight?
I'll be all right. Guys probably stay a fair while.
You can go in now. Call me in the morning. Try and get some sleep, eh?
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Back again. Pain like you wouldn't want to know. Of course, by the time you get to the doctors, it's gone again. Think I'm dreaming. Just an old hypochondriac.
Oh, I don't think that, Mrs. Baxter.
Excuse me, Mrs. Baxter. Martin, could I speak to you for a moment, please?
Yeah, sure. I'll just be a minute.
Alex just phoned. Jeremy died last night. I think you should go around there. I'm really sorry, mate.
Oh, hi. That was quick.
Alex, are you okay?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Can I see him?
Yeah, sure, come in.
He's really gone.
Yeah.
I would have helped you, you know.
What?
The suit. If you had have waited for me, I would have helped you dress him. You didn't have to do it by yourself.
Oh, he was wearing that last night. He came in for a rest. I didn't want to disturb him.
I gave him that tie.
Ruth, this is Martin. Martin's our doctor friend.
So, what time did you find him?
Sorry?
At what time did you realise that Jeremy had passed away? Did you notice in the night or when you woke up in the morning?
When I woke up.
Ruth, would you mind if I had a word with Alex alone?
Sure. I'll make us a pot of tea.
I won't be able to stay for tea. I've got patients waiting. Sorry we haven't met under happier circumstances. The funeral director will need the death certificate before he can move Jeremy. Keep it in a safe place.
Actually, legally, it has to go to the next of kin. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, absolutely, you're right.
Ruth? Bye, Alex.
What's with all the champagne bottles?
Oh, we had a little dinner thing here last night. Why?
Oh, nothing. It's just that Jeremy didn't mention it when I saw him yesterday.
You saw him yesterday?
Well, I guess we better start making funeral arrangements. I'll call them.
I've called him. I thought Tuesday. He was pretty clear about the kind of service he wanted.
I mean, certainly I'm no doctor. But I can't see how one day he can be perfectly fine and the next day he's dead.
Ruth,
It just doesn't seem possible.
it's not uncommon with AIDS-related illnesses. The body just isn't able to ward off infections in the way it normally would.
You know, they had a huge dinner party last night.
I was aware of that.
And Alex seemed so calm, so at ease with the situation.
Oh, we all grieve in different ways.
You know, he's shot through like this before. One day he just took off. He figured out he was gay and didn't think Mum and Dad could handle it. So one morning I woke up and I was an only child. I had him back for 18 months. And then the bastard went and left me again.
Come on. Stop messing around. We never did it in the surf, did we? No. Well, come on. Get your gear off. Come on. Yeah, do everything I tell him today. Yeah. Well, there, boy. I thought you said you were losing weight.
What you doing?
Oh, you know, housekeeping. Living, dead. Always seems like such a betrayal, like abandoning a friend, you know. Haven't actually been able to chuck one out. Look at them all. I remember the first funeral. seemed so extraordinary at the time. Now they're just routine. I'm almost surprised. A month goes by without one. The 90s, eh?
Yeah, I know. Sometimes I wish I'd been born into any other time. I think I might have enjoyed the 20s.
Flu epidemic.
30s?
Tuberculosis.
40s.
Well,
World War II. What do you go for the 50s?
polio?
Mm-hmm. 60s.
Flares.
Hey, look. I think he would have appreciated this.
Who's that?
It's Chrissy Tomasetti's new little boy. He's beautiful, isn't he?
Hope the poor little bugger doesn't grow up to be a doctor.
It's open, come in. Oh, hi.
I was home alone with no one to talk to. I tried going to the office, but this time of night there's no one else there except the other desperates. I was wondering if I could spend the evening with you.
Sure, sure. Go on in. I'll just finish up here.
Thanks.
I'd like to thank you. My friends. My little family. Oh, Martin, put the camera down. Not just for coming here tonight, but for all the years.
This is last night?
For making my life such a good one. And especially to Tristan, for introducing me to this man. Today's been better than I could have imagined. And how many people could say that on the day they died?
What happened here last night? Were you Martin Dempsey's partner?
I tried to stop her.
It's all right, Jimmy.
Do you know what he did to my brother?
You are?
Ruth Taylor.
Stella, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm sure that whatever it is...
I'm talking about my brother, Jeremy. I'm talking about euthanasia. I'm talking about assisting to suicide, manslaughter and possibly murder.
Martin? Miss Taylor, these are very serious criminal allegations.
I know what happened. I know every detail. And I'll be taking every legal action open to me.
What's going on? I was rather hoping you'd tell me. Ruth Taylor was just here.
What did she want?
Morphine. Accidentally broken on the day her brother died. It's a coincidence?
No.
No. And there are other entries here of a similar nature. Identical, in fact.
Yes.
Yes. That's it, yes?
Oh, I did it. I've done it before. If the need arises, I'll most likely do it again.
If the need arises. Correct me if I'm wrong, Martin, but you don't seem to be the least little bit repentant.
Well, it's part of my job.
I see. Do you realize that you've placed this entire practice in jeopardy without even informing your partner?
Oh, how could I?
when this is the response I knew I'd get. William, how much experience have you actually had with AIDS patients? Have you ever treated any?
There is no difference between a terminal AIDS patient and a terminal cancer patient or any other terminal patient. It is the doctor's responsibility to keep the patient alive and free of pain as long as possible. It is not for us to make our own...
That's not medicine. That's vegetable maintenance. It's gardening.
It's what you signed on for.
Yeah, well, maybe the job's changed. It's going to have to keep up with reality.
And what about the law, I wonder? Is that going to have to change, too, to suit your agenda?
My agenda? It's not my agenda. I'm not some isolated aberration. There are 15 million people on this planet with the disease, William, and the refusal of medicine and the law to accommodate their needs is a denial of that fact. You think that if you just say it's us and them, and they get it and we don't, then the problem will go away. Well, it won't. And if the law's not dealing with that fact, then yes, I believe it has to change.
Well, fortunately, this is not a matter of individual beliefs. We took the Hippocratic Oath when we became doctors. We agreed to practice medicine according to a mutually...
Hippocrates has been dead for over 2,000 years, William. Medicine's not immutable. If all doctors were like you, we'd still be drilling holes in people's heads to let the evil spirits out. Medicine's changing. And if you refuse to be part of that evolution, then that's a matter of individual belief. But don't hide behind that Hippocratic Oath bullshit. At least have the guts to be open about your opinions.
In the end, Martin, my opinion is not the issue here. You may very well find yourself facing a murder charge.
Oh, well, that's more like it. At least now we know where we stand. I'm sorry you feel the way you do, William. I don't expect you to understand, but I had no other choice.
Dr. Dempsey, you signed the death certificate for Mr. Taylor?
Yes, I was his doctor.
Heart failure, secondary to AIDS. Could you explain what that means?
He suffered a cardiac arrest due to a number of opportunistic infections.
So it wasn't just one thing?
I was treating him for a number of illnesses. Cerebral lymphoma, MAC. AIDS is a disease of the immune system.
And you specialise in this field?
No, but I do have a number of HIV patients.
Do any of your HIV patients ever talk to you about suicide?
Consultations with my patients are confidential.
You just told me about Mr. Taylor.
I was answering your questions in general.
All right, did Mr. Taylor ever talk to you about suicide?
I'd prefer not to answer that.
But it's likely he considered it, knowing he was going to die.
I'd prefer not to answer that.
Is that what your legal advisor told you to say?
Yes.
Any time your answer might incriminate you?
I'd prefer not to answer that.
I received information that indicates that Mr. Taylor's death was not natural, that he either committed suicide or was murdered. Would you care to comment?
I'd prefer not to answer that.
My information also suggests that you may have actively been involved in his death. Would you care to comment on that?
No.
3 nights ago you visited Mr. Taylor's house, is that correct?
Yes.
You were there when he died?
No, I left around 11 p.m. I estimated his time of death to be around 2 a.m.
And how would you describe his mood when you left?
Peaceful, relaxed. He'd had friends round for dinner.
Oh, so you were his friend as well as his doctor?
Yes.
Is that usual for doctors to treat friends or relatives?
I was his doctor first.
Isn't it so that the doctor doesn't become too emotionally involved?
Generally, but HIV patients often have difficulty finding sympathetic doctors.
And you're sympathetic?
Yes.
So if a patient wanted help to end his life, you'd help him?
I'd prefer not to answer that.
Are you aware that inciting or assisting someone to commit suicide is a crime?
Yes.
Actively participating is murder?
I know.
Withholding information about a crime is also an offence? Do you have any information about Mr. Taylor's death that would indicate it was either suicide or murder?
I'd prefer not to answer that.
Detective Brown, you said you'd call me.
Yeah, as soon as there's any developments.
Haven't you charged him yet?
Look, Miss Taylor, you must know how long these things take.
Look, I've given you a statement. Names, details, what more do you need?
Take it easy. Everything's under control. We'll be in touch.
Special word for elevating Mikey to the status of
What did they say?
They haven't charged me with anything. Not yet, anyway.
You think they will?
I'm still assisting them with their inquiries.
Well, you don't have to, you know.
Well, if I don't, I'll look guilty. You know, I'd prepared myself for this. But it was different. They make you feel like a criminal.
You know, I've been thinking maybe it's not such a good idea to talk to me about it. I mean, you know how they twist things. Maybe the less I know, the better, don't you think?
Is this where Dr. Martin Dempsey practices?
Yes, that's right.
I'm Detective Sergeant Brown. This is Detective Sergeant Morelli. We have a search warrant for these premises.
To search for what?
Information relating to an alleged crime.
What, here?
Julie, I'll explain later. Come in.
I called before and Sonia told me what happened. I'm sorry, Martin. It wasn't your fault. That's how Ruth found out. She saw the video. She kept asking who else was involved. I tried to talk to her, but she couldn't cope. Kept saying we're all murderers.
I'll make some coffee.
She said he must have been depressed.
Look, we both know that's not true, don't we? During the police interview, the one thing that got me through was saying to myself, this is what Jeremy wanted.
They want to talk to me, too. I don't know what to say to them.
Jeremy died in his sleep. You called me in the morning when you found him, and I came over and signed the death certificate.
What about the autopsy?
Autopsy?
Well, Ruth said she demanded proof that he didn't die in his sleep.
There's nothing we can do about it now.
If we'd invited her to the farewell, she would have understood.
It wasn't up to you or me.
That's Martin's drug book. He's going to be needing that.
Where does Dr. Dempsey keep his patient records?
Oh, sorry. You're not going anywhere near them.
I've got a search warrant.
For patients' records?
I'll have to find them myself.
No, you won't.
Sorry about the mess.
Mrs. Vo.
Have you heard what's happened?
Mrs. Vo, just go straight through, please.
What are they after? The police are in Martin's office.
They only just finished questioning him.
Now, you all know what's going on, don't you? But nobody's bothered to tell me. I'm the one who has to deal with the police. Now, where is Martin?
He'll be in soon, Julie. Okay, I've got a patient waiting.
I'd like to speak to Dr. Sharp, please.
He's with a patient. Join the queue.
I need someone to check what I've taken.
How long will Dr. Sharp be?
I'll check.
I got some bits and pieces. Patient records are over there.
William, one of the policemen wants to speak to you. Oh, Mrs. Vander, I'm sorry about the long wait, but it won't be much longer, I promise.
What appears to be the problem?
Dr. Sharp, I'd like to have a word. In private, if we could.
I'm not sure how I can help you.
How would you describe your relationship with Martin Dempsey?
He's a partner in the practice here.
How long have you known him?
About 2 years.
Is he a friend?
Well, we've had a very good working relationship. He lived here until recently.
What, just the two of you?
Yes, we shared the premises. Then circumstances changed. I became engaged to be married, and Martin moved out.
Don't see enough of it these days. People getting engaged.
Quite.
Do you and Dr. Dempsey ever talk about each other's patients?
We consult on occasion.
Did he ever talk to you about Jeremy Taylor?
Not that I recall.
But you knew he treated HIV patients.
To a certain extent.
You're the senior partner, aren't you?
Well, partners don't always get the chance to discuss everything they'd like.
How about euthanasia? Have you ever discussed that?
Not directly, no.
But you both agree with it?
I thought you wanted to talk about Dr. Dempsey.
Did you know that Dr. Dempsey was helping patients commit suicide?
Certainly not.
You're the senior partner, and you've got this close working relationship, but when he's going around helping patients knock themselves off, you don't know anything about it.
No.
It's because you don't want to know, or because you agree and you don't want to get blood on your hands.
Detective, if you were going to pursue this line of inquiry, I think you should do so in the presence of my solicitor.
Don't waste your money, Doctor. Look, on the night Jeremy Taylor died, what time did Martin Dempsey finish work?
That would be the night of Julie's birthday dinner. Martin had a house call. I could check the book.
Who was his patient?
I don't recall.
Look, if a patient wanted to end their life with a drug overdose, how would they get the drugs?
Well, sleeping tablets are available on a doctor's prescription.
Morphine?
Same. It can be obtained from a chemist on prescription, or a GP has a certain supply which has to be accounted for.
That's, what, 515 or 530 milligram ampules a month, isn't it?
Yeah.
Would you use that much?
Varies.
But wouldn't it be possible to build up quite a supply?
Usage has to be recorded in a book like that, giving the patient's name and the date. It's the doctor's own record.
Quite a few breakages, too. Would you say that Dr. Dempsey's usage was excessive?
Depends on the patients.
Seems like a lot to me.
Well, HIV patients require a high level of palliative care, including pain relief.
Look, could a doctor save up enough morphine to kill a patient?
It would be very difficult.
Thanks for your time, Doctor.
Sorry about the delay. How many are waiting?
3. Sonia took a few.
Who's up first?
Not until you tell me what's going on.
Mr. Bradley?
later.
I'm just the receptionist, right?
Sure you are.
It's about a patient who died. His sister's upset and accusing me of being involved.
That's only because you're the doctor.
Can we have a word?
After I've seen Mr. Bradley. Come through.
Martin, sorry, I didn't get a chance to clean up from when the police were here.
Look, sorry about this.
She won't be long. Take a seat.
Is William busy?
Well, he's writing some prescriptions, but I can buzz him for you.
Dr. Sharp, this strange woman out here wants to take you to lunch later. Claims to be a close and intimate friend. The old ghost's not still in a bad mood, is he?
I won't be able to, I'm afraid. Not today.
You sure you're all right? You didn't sound very happy last night.
Something's come up. It's work-related.
All the more reason to come to lunch. Get it off your chest.
Oh, Martin, I'll see you now. Thank you, Julie. Call you later.
Did it never occur to you this might happen?
It never has, because the partners and the families have always been grateful.
And this time they aren't.
If people choose to react hysterically, I can't control that.
Martin, you've broken the law.
I have helped a terminally ill patient die with dignity. Euthanasia should be a medical issue, not a criminal one.
It's an issue which needs to be debated at length. It's not for you to make a unilateral decision.
Look, I've got patients walking through my door begging me for help. Do I refer them to an ethics committee? Tell them to do a backyard job while society discusses it? If someone's lucky enough to be on life support, we can turn it off, let them die a dignified death, and society doesn't mind.
There is an ethical difference between removing life support from a brain-dead patient and actively assisting at a suicide.
Yeah, but is there a moral one? Both actions hasten an inevitable death.
No, one allows a natural process to occur and the other interferes with it.
Natural? How much of what we do is natural?
Martin, you're emotionally involved. You're letting it cloud your judgment.
Look, the first time I was asked to help, I refused. Later, I found out that the patient had done it himself with a razor blade while his partner was out shopping. He died alone in a pool of blood instead of surrounded by the people he loved. That made my judgment very clear.
Well, I cannot condone it in this practice.
You don't have to condone it.
Oh, no. And when a detective questions me about your drug records, your overuse of morphine, what am I supposed to tell him?
I use what my patients require.
I see. Well, in future, I intend to supervise your records a great deal more closely, and I want your assurance that your use of morphine will be for symptom relief only.
I can't give that.
Martin, I am trying to protect the good name of this practice.
It's an unreasonable request.
Then suggest an alternative.
I treat my patients as I see fit, not how you would treat them.
As senior partner, I have a real problem with that.
Then as senior partner, you should deal with it, not me.
You are the problem.
My conscience is clear.
And I'm afraid you'll have to take it with you and find rooms elsewhere.
If that's the only way.
How much time would you need?
2, 3 weeks, so I can notify my patients.
Fine.
Oh, I didn't know how your drawers were arranged, so I just piled everything back into them.
Thanks.
You look a bit pasty. You all right?
I'm just running late. I should be at the hospital.
Martin, this patient who died, is that why the police were here?
Yes.
What were they looking for?
Oh, guns, heavy blunt instruments, anything to prove I'm a murderer.
William's supporting you, though, isn't he?
William has ethical problems with levels of euthanasia.
Well, this is Jeremy Taylor, isn't it? I mean, he was only in his 30s.
With AIDS.
Yes, but taking your own life.
I felt the same way until I watched more and more patients die ugly, out-of-control deaths.
But that depends on your religious beliefs, whether or not you're out of control.
Which God could be so cruel, Julie?
Martin, I know it's difficult to understand sometimes, but...
Oh, don't give me that old mysterious ways line.
Well, how do you decide? Where do you draw the line?
I ask the patient.
Lunch sounds good. Tomorrow. I'm all right. We've got so much to do. See you then.
Alex, it's Reggie here. I heard about Jeremy, and I've been thinking of you both all day. Hold in there and give me a call when you can.
Detective Sergeant Morelli here. I dropped in this morning, but there was no one home. If Alex could give me a call on 950-3579, I'd appreciate it.
I came round to collect some of Jeremy's things.
I haven't had a chance to sort everything out yet.
I don't mind doing it.
Ruth, Jeremy told me where he wanted things to go.
Is now a good time?
No.
As executor of Jeremy's estate, I have authority over his belongings.
He changed his will.
When? I wasn't notified.
A few months ago.
If it's unofficial, it's worthless.
We did it through a different solicitor, McNabb's in Berkeley Street.
Well, why didn't he tell me?
Ruth, I don't want things to be like this. I don't think Jeremy would either.
You think you can shut me out? I'm his sister, all that's left of his family.
I was his lover.
Your CD4 cell count's holding at about 150. Now, that could be because of the AZT. Headaches and nausea are common side effects. Have you been vomiting much? Well, it may help to change over to DDC.
I feel so tired all the time.
I know, but without some form of antiviral, your cell count could drop more rapidly, which would obviously increase your susceptibility to infection. Look, I have had some cases where cell counts have stabilised for years with proper therapy.
Dr. Dempsey, when you finish that?
We'll stop the AZT. I'll prescribe some analgesics. And I'll call back tomorrow, okay? How long's Philip been like this?
Since he started deteriorating. He used to be the ward comedian.
Is there much family support?
His partner visits every day, but the family isn't dealing with it very well.
You wanted to speak to me?
I was called up to the superintendent's office this morning. He wants to talk to you.
Sounds ominous.
I just wanted you to know that I had nothing to do with it and that I don't agree.
With what?
They're withdrawing your visiting rights. Some police were here this morning asking about Jeremy Taylor. I told him how popular you were, how much the patients depend on you, but he said there's some legal reason, insurance or something, that he didn't have any choice.
Who's going to take over my patients?
He did say it was only until the police investigation was over.
Keep an eye on Philip, will you? If his depression gets much worse, make sure he gets some help.
Sure.
Got anything you want done?
No, I put some through this morning, thanks.
Yeah. Everything takes so long to dry this time of the year.
Yeah.
William, did Martin provide the drugs that Jeremy Taylor used to commit suicide?
I believe so.
He wasn't there, was he?
You should ask Martin.
He was. How could he stand there and watch someone kill themselves?
Would you prefer bolognese or carbonara with your spaghetti?
I think I've lost my appetite.
Well, think about something else.
William, Jeremy Taylor wasn't even that sick.
Julie.
It's a mortal sin.
And against the law and against the doctor's duty to preserve human life, which is why Martin will be leaving Ross Street in 2 weeks' time. Now, bolognese or carbonara?
Carbonara.
At first he started going on about legal grounds, then he started talking about corporate image, about how they can't afford to jeopardise hospital funding.
But jeopardising the well-being of patients.
They've sent the wrong bloody pizzas. Is it so hard to get a pizza order right?
Hey, let me call them.
Oh, no. Man, I'm starving. I can't wait. That's how this virus became an epidemic in the first place. Because the bureaucrats wouldn't move fast enough. I'm the last resort for patients looking for a doctor who'll discuss all their options, including euthanasia.
Yeah, which isn't fair on you.
There are so many indefinites. The virus can't survive more than 3 minutes in isolation. Whoops. Yes, it can. Oral sex is safe. Oh, hang on. Maybe it's not. We don't know for sure. There's nothing we know for sure.
Pizzas look good.
Well, they're not. They're terrible.
Look, why don't you just cut back? For a while.
What, and leave it to someone else? Well, that'd keep William happy. At least he wouldn't have to supervise my drug requisitions or keep an eye on me.
He asked to supervise you.
Yeah. I told him to stick it, so if you know of any good rooms going.
Why didn't you tell me this?
I was getting round to it.
When did you realise Mr. Taylor was dead?
In the morning when I woke up. I called the doctor. He came round and wrote out the death certificate.
And did you have any idea from his appearance how long he'd been dead?
His face was blue and his skin was all cold.
I'm trying to clarify the time of death.
Does it really matter?
Was he feeling ill the night before?
He's been ill ever since he's seroconverted.
But no worse than usual?
No.
What time did he go to bed?
Around 11?
And what time did Dr. Dempsey leave?
I don't remember.
9, 10, 11?
Around 10:30, 11.
Where was Jeremy then?
In bed. Why do you keep asking questions about Martin?
Because certain accusations have been made.
Well, he hasn't done anything wrong, right? So leave him alone.
I have to ask these questions.
No, you don't. You're only asking them because Ruth can't accept it, that Jeremy didn't want her there.
What, at the party? Why not?
Because she would...
Wouldn't understand? But Dr. Dempsey did.
Martin understood what Jeremy was going through.
Yeah, he knew he was going through a lot of pain. Knew he was going to die sooner or later and wanted it to be sooner. That's what the party was for, wasn't it? To say goodbye to Jeremy.
No. No, that's not right. It was to celebrate his life. I told them what we agreed on, even though they kept asking about the party and who left when.
Well, at least they might leave you alone now. How have you been feeling apart from that?
Last night was pretty bad, being there alone.
It'll take a while.
I couldn't sleep. So I started going through Jeremy's clothes. I couldn't throw them away, so I put them on the sofa and slept on them. I know it's selfish, but we could have spent months together. Had more good times before he got worse.
We did what Jeremy wanted. That was what you wanted too.
I didn't know it would be this hard.
Remember the dinner party? Remember how happy he was, surrounded by his friends?
How peaceful he looked lying on the bed. He died next to the person he loved, not in some hospital somewhere.
I know. Just being selfish.
You mightn't have wanted him to go so soon, but it was what he wanted. You respected his choice. That's not selfishness. That's courage.
Did you know I tested positive 3 months before Jeremy? We never knew who infected who.
Does it matter?
He was strong. He was healthy. He got sick. And I'm still all right.
It can happen that way.
It's so unfair.
Did he treat patients at the house?
Martin does his own thing. I do mine.
Scary when you think you know someone, isn't it? And then you realise you didn't.
No sign of Mr. Walker yet?
No, he rang to say he was going to be late. Look, did Martin talk to you about what he was doing?
It's not exactly the sort of conversation you have over breakfast, Julie.
Yeah, especially when it concerns killing people.
You don't know that.
Providing drugs is the same thing.
Well, it depends on how you look at it.
Do you agree with what he's done?
I don't know. It's just not that black and white.
Hi, Sonia.
Alex, hi.
Thanks for the card. It meant a lot.
Call me if you need to.
There's something I should explain about what I said.
I got your drift.
Can I have one too?
Maybe 2 weeks is too long. I should write to my patients and explain.
Well, you haven't lined up new rooms.
How can I work properly in this atmosphere?
Oh, Julie's just Julie.
And so's William. And so are you. You all disagree with what I've been doing.
Martin, don't.
And what's the alternative?
Look, you could set up rooms for HIV patients only and reduce your caseload here.
And isolate my patients even more.
You'd still get to treat most of them and you could get visiting rights back at the hospital.
Yeah, and turn away others because my supervisor can't deal with his ethical problem.
Most of your patients would be better off.
Look, one of the reasons I came into general practice was I couldn't stand the taxi rank mentality at St. John's. Patients should be in charge of their illnesses, not doctors. It's not up to William or some superintendent to decide.
But if you leave, you're letting him win.
And if I don't, he wins anyway. At least if they acquit me, it'll set a precedent.
And if they don't, you might go to jail.
Yeah. The law stinks, doesn't it? Alex should be grieving for Jeremy, not worrying about whether the police are going to arrest him.
You're getting caught up in the righteous battle. If you're deregistered, the world loses a great doctor. For what?
Well, if enough people admit what's happening, the law might change. It did for abortion.
And you'll be a martyr for the cause.
It wasn't my choice for things to happen this way. But I won't run away.
And what do you tell your patients will miss out?
We don't get many people from Queensland. They're usually always going the other way. So would you like to see Dr. Sharp or Dr. K-Pick? And I'll get you to fill this in for me if you wouldn't mind.
I'll go. Martin? What are you doing?
Just letting off a bit of steam.
I didn't mean to upset you.
Then you don't know me as well as I thought you did.
I know how important this is to you.
Then don't sit on the fence. At least William's upfront about the way he feels. Do you think I'm a murderer?
No. I mean, I don't know if I could do what you've done, but then I've never been in that position.
Do you think the law should be changed?
It worries me giving that sort of power to doctors.
What about patients of sound mind who choose to die?
If they had a better quality of life, they mightn't want to.
Some of them, and they're the ones I'd refuse. What about the others?
Well, they should have a choice to go to a doctor other than me who could help them.
So you support changing the law?
Yes.
Well, thanks for telling me.
Come in. Thank you.
Hi, sis. Bet you didn't expect to see me so soon. I'm making this tape so you can remember me like this instead of when this poxy disease starts getting worse. Check out the biceps, eh? Nothing wrong with them. If you do get to see this, it'll be after I've departed this mortal coil. There's a few things I wanted to say. I'm not sure if I'll get around to them. It's been great catching up again. I had written off the family after I left Perth. But they're always there, no matter where you go. You reminded me of the good times we used to have as kids. Speaking of good times, I guess mine are numbered. I've just come out of hospital after a week of throwing up, being jabbed in every place possible. While I was in there, I started thinking about the future, or what's left of it. And I've got this really good doctor, one who explains everything, and he's a real spunk as well. What really scares me is losing my marbles. I'm already getting names mixed up, Ruth. I don't want to end up a veggie, waiting for some new infection to finish me off. Do you think I'm gutless for making this tape instead of talking to you? Well, I've noticed there's still some things we don't talk about. Like Alex's and my relationship, and how sick I'm getting. There's parts of my life you don't seem comfortable with, so I avoid talking about them. And you never ask. Now, maybe I'll never send this tape and we'll get to it. But just in case, please don't be offended. What are you doing there? Having a good time? Can I join in? On the phone. I'm boring. Alex doesn't know I'm doing this. After I'm gone, you'll have to look after him. We talked the other night about dying and self-delivery, but he couldn't handle it. Kept saying it was up to me. Well, I could tell he was upset. It's tempting just to end it. Say goodbye now, like this. Rather than, later when I'm sick. I'm not sure I could go through with it. I'd probably chicken out. Maybe they'll find a miracle cure for AIDS in the next 12 months. And we'll sit here and watch this, laughing our heads off.
Did he ever talk about me?
We weren't really that close.
Really? Jeremy and I were inseparable as kids.
Ruth, why have you come here?
I'm here to say I'm sorry. One thing I realised about my brother is he's very single-minded. If he'd made the decision to die before he got too sick, he'd go through with it no matter what anyone said. It would have been his decision and no one else's.
His and Alex's?
Yeah. I think I resented that. We never regained the same closeness. I presume that's why I wasn't invited to the dinner. He invited you. He was closer to his doctor than his own sister.
I wasn't just his doctor. I was his friend.
One of his family, he said. You see, I didn't get a chance to say goodbye. I don't know how I'll forgive him for that. I'm withdrawing the statement to the police. I'll deny it if it goes to court. It won't stop the autopsy or the investigation, but it might make a difference.
I'll do those if you buy me a beer on the way home.
Some other time.
Or we could talk about the weather, state of origin.
Oh, I've got a couple of house calls.
Oh, after that. Prawn gumbo at the Cajun kitchen. Hey, we have disagreed about things before, you know. Capital punishment, the Labor Party, whether masturbation's infectious.
I'll see you at home.
Marty, don't lose your sense of humour, please.
I don't know how you can pretend this hasn't happened.
Good evening. I won't take up much of your time, Dr. Dempsey. I received a copy of the coroner's autopsy on Jeremy Taylor today. He mentions age-related infections, like you've said, then talks about the level of morphine in the bloodstream. It was high enough to be fatal under ordinary circumstances, but not unusual for someone on high levels of morphine for pain relief, as Mr. Taylor was.
Right.
Which means it doesn't prove anything. The other guests confirmed your version of the night's events, the time you left, and I had a phone call from Miss Taylor today saying she wanted to change her statement. I haven't got around to her yet, but I got the gist of it.
She spoke to me too.
I'm closing the investigation because of lack of evidence. I'll still pass it on to the prosecutor's office, but I don't expect you'll hear from them.
So that's it? Case closed?
Unless further evidence comes to light. I brought back the items we took from the surgery. Got a sign for him. I couldn't help but notice how many breakages you had at the morphine ampules.
Accidents happen.
I'll make sure you never operate on me.
There we go.
Thanks. I'll see myself out.
Sounds to me as though Martin has a pretty good argument.
Yes, he has. That's not the point. I understand what he's done. Of course I do. Understand very well. But it's the way he's gone about it.
Jeopardizing the practice.
Not just that. But you can't do something like this on your own. It affects other people.
So the worst thing he did was to get caught.
Doing it behind my back. He's let me down, let the patients down. I've never had to sack a partner before. I know it sounds stuffy and old-fashioned, but people have certain responsibilities.
You've done the right thing.
You don't believe that?
I do.
If I could have your attention for a minute, please. Believe it or not, Jeremy and I discussed this service a long time ago. He didn't want it to be miserable. He wanted us to remember the life he'd lived rather than his death. And to celebrate some of his favourite memories. So take it away, guys.
If your dog is feeling glum, or your parrot's lost his tongue, don't despair, call vets who care. When the mog is in a tiz, or your rabbit's lost his fizz, don't despair, call vets who care. We're on the road all day and night, we'll fix your pets until they're right. Don't despair, we're vets who care.
That paid for our first holiday to Bali. There was another one about a year ago when Jeremy talked about writing an autobiography about growing up gay in Australia. But you know, Jeremy, he only wrote the first few pages. Childhood was a blur for me. A blur of intense, confusing experiences interspersed by long periods of calm. Relaxed, sunburnt, seaside calm. There was one person always by my side. My guardian angel, my fellow conspirator, my best friend, and Sister Ruth. Do you want to say something?
Jeremy wanted this to be a happy occasion. But I don't feel very happy right now. There's still so many things we had to talk about. I'll miss his laugh. I'll miss his friendship. I'll miss him.
It's my choice. I want to support you.
Look, argue with William all you like, but save your big guns for something that really matters to you.
This does. It's just taken me a while to realise it, that's all.
Resigning won't achieve anything except put you out of a job. I've already got a few prospects.
Like what?
Like opening a clinic in Launceston. I'd be in charge. No Williams looking over my shoulder.
Tasmania?
Yeah. Social life might not be all that crash hot, but I wouldn't mind that at the moment.
I thought you said you were worried about dealing only with HIV patients, that you'd lose perspective.
I have already, remember? Along with my sense of humour.
Tasmania, you haven't lost your sense of humour.
I can't offer you a job, so you better start sucking up to William.
You take care of yourself, won't you?
Yeah.
Right now, I've asked the accountant to calculate the figures up until the end of next week and then work out a figure based on your percentage of the partnership.
Sounds fun.
And I'll send you those figures with the settlement check.
If it's easy, don't go to any trouble.
No. I'd rather have all the details out in the open. Now then, this is the release agreement detailing the change in the partnership arrangements. And this one is an approval of the terms of settlement.
It's as bad as selling a house.
Well, I'm very pleased that there'll be no repercussions for you, Martin, but you do understand that sometimes one has no alternative but to act for everyone's best interest.
Especially the patients.
Especially.
Oh, I need a few hours off.
Yes, take as long as you like. I'm sure we can manage without you.
I'm going out for a few hours, Julie. Many down for this afternoon?
No, not really.
Good. Might have time for a long lunch.
Look, I can't. I've got something on.
I meant me.
Oh, right.
Maybe we could some other time.
Yeah, sure.
Did you know that this is illegal too? It's against some council health regulation.
I think I'll take the risk.
No. I'm not family.
Goodbye, Jeremy.
Bye, Jeremy.
GP returns next Tuesday. Coming up on ABC Backchat, except for our Queensland viewers who'll see an election talk.